Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. We are back for our second show of the week. It is February 17th, 2022. Tiger Woods doing a press conference as we speak. He's giving a whole lot of nothing burgers, which you can just tell whenever he sets the tone in one of those pressers. He's not going to give you shit. Currently not giving us shit. So we're going to record. We're talking. We got Maurice Allen on the show, who is a world long drive champion. I believe 2018 was the year that he was the champion, and he's two-time number one ranked world long drive competitor in the world. He's also got a foundation. He does a lot of work growing golf in African-American communities and also trying to amplify stories with African-American and diverse golfers, which is something that we obviously don't do enough of. And we got into a great conversation with him about that perspective, about how we can do more. And he's just a phenomenal guy. He's got a great vibe. He's very fun to talk to. The second he jumped in the chat, some people jump in the chat and it's fucking weird and it's awkward. And we sit here like, hello, we're going to like interview you now. And then other people jump in. They kind of comment on something that we look like or talk like. And then all of a sudden you're just in it and you're having a conversation. And Maurice was exactly like that. So phenomenal guest. Great guest, actually.
Riggs, that was big of you to give him that type of intro because one, it's all true. And two, he ripped on you for an hour straight. We talked to him for an hour and he just kept giving it to you. And, you know, because you had said something right off the top about driving distance and how you want to drive it further than Frankie. And he just took Frankie's side immediately. And it was the through line of the interview, him making fun of you.
I'll say I did a little self-deprecation at the beginning of the show, sort of try to disarm anyone, you know, make it all comfortable, having a good time here. I can make fun of myself. I want to be able to hit the ball further. You're the long drive guy. Frankie's, you know, a wiry, pathetic body who gets made fun of on the internet because he doesn't have a fucking neck anymore. And then I try to say that, and then he did. He just, anytime, you know, he was really trying to go back to like chopping it up with the boys, he went to just roasting me the entire interview, which is fine. That's, you know, that's part of our camaraderie.
I've been on the receiving end of that in many forms of social media, many conversations across the whole entire universe at this point. So, yeah, he's one of the, you know, he's just one of those guys that you could just listen to speak forever. And it's not because he was giving me a ton of compliments. He's just so well spoken, and he could absolutely he could speak on anything and you're just going to listen to it. So one of my favorite long form interviews that we've done in a long time. You know, you learn something that you really don't think about a lot. And, you know, now we're all going to have that on our mind, which is, you know, what he's trying to do. He's bringing awareness. He's being he's being a representative of his community. And it's really, you know, I see a path for us to be able to, you know, take more strides into that space, so to speak, where it's like, you know, we're just a bunch of dudes that like to do a lot of stuff in golf, and we don't realize like how much of an impact we could have or do have when we put out YouTube videos that get hundreds of thousands of views. So many people are watching it. So you get a guy like him who has such amazing things that he wants to accomplish and so many things he wants to talk about, and putting him on our platform is awesome. I'm like very, very happy and excited to be a part of something like that.
And things that he wants to accomplish that are real and impactful in the world. Like a lot of our stuff's not real. Like we're going to talk coming up on this show about in depth, probably about if we can, as a 4-man scramble, defeat Max Homa. And that's going to be a huge discussion point, and it's going to be a huge focal point next week. And that's not even a real thing. It's just a dumb video series that we do that people love, and it is fun. It's great. It's good for golf. But he's doing, you know, and focusing on real impactful stuff that change communities and lives and sort of the trajectory for golf and its impact and, you know, more of the communities, obviously, that he's from and his family. And it's obviously going to be quite different than where we're from and what we typically talk about in the show. So it was a great perspective. And like I said, he's just the man, with the exception of he decided to roast me the entire interview. That's fine. I could take it. We all could take it here. That's what we do. So that's coming up, the second half of the show. First half, we got myself, Trent, and Frankie. We got a handful of talking points to get through, including some rumors about Saudi Arabia. We got Riviera. We got, like I said, Tiger is back in the media space this week, and we got a big match coming up against Max Homa. Augusta actually released a little bit of information. Before we get to all that, I got a little Bearbottom clothing right here, boys and girls.
Oh gosh,
how good is this stuff?
I've got one of their hoodies.
Never heard of them.
I don't know where it is. It's so comfy.
Never heard of them before. I got a shipment sent to my house, and I said, "Now, what is this?" Very, very excited by the name. You know, I started kind of smirking as I'm opening up the package. You know, it's going to be one of those comfy, cozy, whether it's a crew neck or a hoodie or pajama pants or something. And my goodness, was I surprised when I saw it. Like, Riggs is holding them up right now.
These joggers I got right now, these are
joggers that you can wear out to dinner or to like an event, and they're so comfortable and they're so stylish, and the long sleeve shirts and the crew necks and the t-shirts, it's the list goes on and on. Bearbottom, it feels like you're wearing nothing, and they nailed the name. I love it. I'm a huge fan. I will be a fan for a long time for Bearbottom because they won me over with that package.
Same. Their stuff's really good, really comfortable, and it's cool. You know, this is just this like elastic. You know, it's a little more casual. You just throw these puppies on. You can rock them to go get coffee. You can rock them to dinner. You're gonna look great, and they're super comfortable. I was just not wiping. I was almost massaging my face with them because their material's so good. Mm-hmm. They're sold exclusively through their own site. You're going right to the source for premium threads without the premium price. For each item you purchase, a school lunch is donated to a child in need. So they're doing great stuff. Over 700,000 meals have already been donated. Check out their latest styles at bearbottomclothing.com/4 and get free shipping on your first purchase. That's bearbottomclothing.com/4. You're going to get free shipping. Make getting dressed the easiest part of your day with Bare Bottom. And again, that is bearbottomclothing.com/4. Go check them out. Okay. Big announcement. Fore Man Scramble's back next week, Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022. We will be playing Max Homa at Akshin, Southern Dunes, which is about 45 minutes south of where I live in Scottsdale. One of my favorite courses out here. I think it's probably top 4 or 5. I think I actually tweeted that last week. But really cool golf course, a lot of bunkers, and we're going to open it up to fans. I think we're teeing off at 1 p.m. local time. There's a chance we could tee off at 2:10 because if we go off at 2:10, there's nobody behind us, but sunset's like 6:10 or 6:15, so that could be a little bit dicey. If we go at 1 p.m., there's tee times all behind us, but I think we play at actually a pretty impressive pace anyways. Since we're playing a scramble, he's playing his own ball. We all just kind of hit and just go to one ball. So we'll see. But I think we're going to do 1 p.m. We are opening up to fans. Akshin is very cool. They've been super helpful. Yes, we can make this work, that work. You guys want fans? Cool. We'll have the beverage cart rolling around. And we got a match. Max Homa told me on the driving range before his round on Saturday that it doesn't matter. We can pick everything from the course to the tees to whatever we want. We're going to get our first L, is what he told me.
It's by far our biggest test. There's no denying that. We're going to have fans. You know, Trent's going to have to hit some shots with people lining the fairways. If you're in the area, definitely come, but be prepared for flying balls and maybe clubs, depending on how the match goes. Especially with me with a wedge, you never know what's going to happen around the green. But it's going to be a test. There's no denying. I mean, Max is one of the best players on the planet. You know, we're the one-shot wonders when it's come to our victories, where, you know, we've had 3 balls out of bounds, and then either like a Lurch, Trent, or I or Riggs, we find a way to hit that one good shot that saves us. Will we have that magic in Arizona? I hope so. I'm coming for blood with Max. We have to attack this thing like it's the biggest event of our lives. And, you know, it's game 7 of our oh my God, I was going to say Super Bowl. It's game 7 of our World Series, of our Stanley Cup. That's what we're doing. That's our big event that we have to live for and go to sleep thinking about. There's some talk about facial hair decisions. Trent, I don't know if you have something to say about that.
Yeah, so we've been tossing around the idea of shaving our facial hair, or my facial hair, and, you know, everyone else can jump on this as well, into a mustache to play against Max Homa, because he famously has a pretty epic mustache. So I'm in. I'm definitely going to do it. I think I'm going to let it grow out. You know, we only have a week, so it's like this is kind of what it's going to look like regardless. But I'm going to wait until the night before, and I think we'll video me like chopping it all down.
Which is crazy, dude. You haven't had that. People that have listened to this podcast haven't seen you without a goatee probably ever.
No, I would say never. Because it's
holy shit, dude.
It's just like what I've decided is my best look in terms of facial hair, because I can't grow a beard, which is, you know, one of the big disappointments of my gene pool.
Surprised you can't grow a beard. You seem like you'd be able to be a hairy. You don't. You obviously don't. But not, Trent, you seem like you'd be able to grow a full beard.
Not to go TMI, but I'm actually not that hairy. Like when
Really?
when I pop the top, I've got a little patch like right here, and then I'm smooth as a baby's bottom, dude.
Nice Nuru massage, me and you can maybe.
Oh god.
So, but it's
Somebody get me some
the,
oil. Holy shit.
The males in my family, and the females too, I suppose, they cannot grow facial hair. Like my dad and my brother look just like this in terms of facial hair. So, and my best buddies growing up, I had two really, really close friends. I still do. And they can grow these beautiful beards, and they were able to grow them when we were like 12 years old, and I could never do it. So I was always jealous. But I am going to shave this into a mustache for the Max Homa match. And Frankie had mentioned this, and I think I have to do this as well. I think I got to dye it like a darker brown.
Yeah.
Because I have like a mix of blonde hairs in my mustache that doesn't make it as prominent. So I think to really maximize my mustache, I have to color it a darker brown. What do you guys think about that?
Which we're gonna do. Listen, it's all about mind games. Yes, it's a buffet of bits, but also Max Homa going into the waste management tweeted out, got a shit ton of retweets about it, saying, "I think it's time to bring the mustache back. What better week to do it than at the waste management?" So like he's a mustache guy. He clearly goes to the facial hair for some sort of good juju. And we're going to do the same. We're going to steal his mustache flavor, his mustache. That's his trick. That's his card in his pocket. That's his last bullet in the chamber. And we're going to take that from him. The facial hair game is now going to be on our side. Now, will I contribute to that? I'm going to try to. This is what I'm working with a week out. We don't know how much better it's going to be, but you know what? I'm going to try my damn hardest to see where it gets to. I mean, we haven't seen Riggs in a mustache ever. We haven't seen Lurch in a mustache ever. So it should be quite the interesting look.
So I've got, everything in this world, right, comes out to zero, right? It all evens out, even Steven. I got hair everywhere and just nothing up top. It's just fucking bare up there. So it all comes out to even. What I'm saying is I'm a little bit worried too about the Trent situation where I'm blonde. So I could shave all this and have a mustache and nobody might be able to even tell I have a fucking mustache. So I guess we have to dye him? Is that what we're going to do?
You can just ferment him. You can just ferment him, no problem.
Yeah, I think I have to dye
do a light brown. It'll add a little darkness to it. It'll be out within a week or two. You'll be fine. You're gonna look a little ridiculous, but you know what? You're gonna tell people when you go out to dinner. I just beat Max Homa in a fucking 4-man scramble. Go watch it on YouTube.
I am nervous about exposing this part of my body, like the chin under part.
Yeah, same.
To my life.
But like, but people are used to seeing that on you. I really think that the angles are going to look so much different because
I can't wait, dude.
Because it's just, I've really planned it out where it looks as good as it can in terms of exposure. So now I'm going to chop it all the way down and I'm going to clean shave it into a mustache. Like it's going to look far different.
Letting you know I don't do well with change. I couldn't look Riggs in the eye for like a month when he got his like surgery. I don't do well with change. I can't. When I see you, I might pass out. Like,
it is true,
dude. If my dad ever came home and had his mustache shaved, first of all, I've never lived in a world in which he didn't have a mustache. Literally, has had it for 28 years. So if he came home with no mustache, I'd actually think about like leaving forever. I don't know what I'd do. Like I can't accept that. That's the way my brain works. I can't look at Trent without that facial hair. I can't do it.
It is funny.
I'm not gonna be able to handle it.
Trent, in your Bachelor audition video, the OG from way back in the day, did you have any facial hair in that video?
I think I did. I think I had a similar thing to what I have now.
I'm trying to recall when I might have seen you, or I'm trying to bring up images when you had. I know, but he wasn't like really on, like in the New York office even.
Yeah, dude, I have. Yeah. Maybe not when you started full time, but I have a picture of when he went on the Dave Portnoy show. It was like my first day working on the Dave Portnoy show, and Trent came in to do some sort of interview with Dave. Dave was just like getting to know everyone in the office. He interviewed Roan for the first time. Roan was just one of Smitty's friends or Smitty had recommended him from fucking Philly.
He was the Sixers blogger.
The Sixers blogger.
Yeah, I remember Jojo and Joe show.
The Jojo and Joe show. I have a promotional picture I took on my phone of Trent, and he's just got nothing. So like that, and I don't remember that like with my own eyes. I only remember from the photo.
But that also wasn't the norm. So that was before I had moved to New York, but I would come up once a month to do videos to just like be in the mix. And that time that I was there, Smitty and I had done a clown video where we dressed up as clowns and went around the city to freak people out. Because there was a time on the internet where clowns standing silently were like a big thing. I think it ended up being a promotional bit for it when it came back around. But anyway, Smitty and I decided to do a video like that, and to put face paint on, we decided to go completely clean shaven. So that's why in that picture that you have, Frankie, that's why it's that way. It was like a special circumstance, and I had never done it really before. So it's been very few and far between, very rare for me to have no facial hair whatsoever.
In regards to the match, and this is no disrespect to our friend Kevin Kisner, Pat Perez, Joel Damon, Max Homa has to be the best golfer that we're facing.
Well, Max Homa is the 35th ranked player in the world currently. He won twice on the PGA Tour last year. And another real devastating and a tough hurdle is that he hits the ball really far.
Yeah.
He hits it a mile, and he hits it really straight, especially in sort of a fun game like this that we're going to play with him. So that's going to be something that we have to overcome, because I remember us thinking, wow, Pat Perez hits the ball. He's hitting it out there pretty fucking far. And Max, I believe, is going to hit it significantly farther than Pat Perez, than Kevin Kisner, and than Joel Damon. So we're going to have distance. We're going to be chasing him the entire time, which is going to be new. And he's on the up and up, Kiz and PP, right? They've been kind of staples on the tour here for a while, and they've definitely racked up some wins. And Joel's on the up and up too, but he played terrible. We didn't even think it was him. We thought it was his brother, and we played against him. But Max is on the up and fucking up. He wasn't that far off from making the Ryder Cup team last year. He probably, I imagine, will definitely, I think, not probably, definitely make some teams going forward. I'm on record at saying, I believe a year ago or so, I think he'll be a top 10 ranked player in the world at some point. And now we have to try to take him down in a 4-man scramble. The thing that is going our way is I think all four of us are better at golf than the last time we played a 4-man scramble against the PGA Tour.
Yeah, the scramble always came at a time where it was like, all right, Trent and I haven't played golf in 3 months. We got this thing. We got Joel Damon and Pat Perez in Arizona next week, and can you guys make it there? And let's knock out these 2 videos. And it was like, all right, like hopefully we can hit them. We'll go to the range before, and we'll figure it out. Now it's like Trent and I have been hitting golf balls. We're going to 5-iron. We've got our launch monitors. I've been going to the range a lot. We just got back from doing the TaylorMade video. We went to Bandon recently. Like, we're just kind of playing a lot more golf this year, specifically in 2022, ever since the calendar turned. I think that we are definitely more prepared to hit better golf shots now than we were in any previous match. So that's just me talking personally about my game. I feel much better stepping up to a tee box next Tuesday than I did against Pat Perez.
Is this golf course that we're playing largely target golf, like in Arizona, just a pretty straightforward Arizona golf course? Because when we played Perez, that ended up being a problem for a lot of it, because when we needed a shot, sometimes we wouldn't get it, and that's why it went down to the wire.
No. So this course is a little more parkland style. It's a little deserty. There's a few spots where if you miss on a certain side, you're kind of in the desert and gone. But for the most part, I'd be surprised if anybody even really loses a ball out there. It's kind of tree-lined. It's a lot of bunkers. And the whole course, even the parts that I would call kind of waste area, desert area, aren't traditional bushy desert area. They're pretty barren, not many plants at all, and you pretty much will find everything. So,
all right, that's great news for us.
That helps us because we can swing, but I also think, it's going to let Max swing pretty freely. And we're worse at golf, so obviously that's going to help us.
I think this match play well.
That's right.
We have to putt and sink fucking putts. We can't miss 5-footers, 6-footers. We can't have those times where it's like we're overreading these putts and we're all missing on the right side. And there's been times during these scrambles where like we just think too much into it. We just gotta get the ball in the fucking hole and move on to the next tee box. Like we gotta play our game. We can't let Max get in our head, because when we play our game, we've noticed that we make a lot of birdies as a scramble when we just play our game.
Let's swing our swing. Idiots. Swing our swings. Don't swing somebody else's swing.
4 fucking idiots together can make one PGA Tour golfer, and we've proven that over and over and over again. It's time for the 4th time. I know we don't talk about the Paige Sporadic one because we lost that one. 4 versus 4 is another animal. 4v1,
like
we're
a
a
charity
problem.
outing, that wasn't.
4v1, we're a problem.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what I was going to say. This match in particular, we just have to focus on us because Max is going to play spectacular, and we just got to do our own thing and hope that we are ahead when it's all over.
I think that's right. I think that's exactly right. We got to be confident. We got to be focused. We need Lurch to hit the shots that he hits. We need Riggs to hit the shots he hits. Trent to hit the shots he hits. Frankie hits the shot he hits. Frankie, I feel like you've been puring the golf ball, especially off the tee lately. Just every time I'm watching you post at the driving range out in Long Island, you're going to these crazy fucking underground golf labs, it feels like, and working on your action. So I feel like we're going to get, and Trent's 15 strokes better than he's ever been in his entire career. So
Yeah,
I think we got to have some mojo going into this. We're coming in with our fucking mustaches and the best golf we've ever played in our lives.
Dude,
Frankie,
we played Danielle Kang, and Trent was a problem for Danielle Kang. He was.
Yeah, right.
He was hitting fairways. He was hitting greens. He was like holing out from all over the place. Trent is a problem when he's playing well in a scramble because he doesn't have to think about everything. As for me,
I love playing the scramble. Scramble is by far the most comfortable I am on a golf course.
You know how freeing it is for me to know, like, all right, we're 230 yards away, and like I can now at least just try and rip as hard as I can a 3-wood at the green and really try and like utilize. I feel like my long irons, I have a pretty good feel on them right now. But when I'm playing by myself, I'm thinking like, all right, do I hit now like a 9 iron because I can't hit fucking wedges from 40 yards and in? Like in a scramble, I get to do whatever I want because the shots that I don't like and all the results that I don't like to get myself into, I don't have to worry about because we have Riggs, who's like the best chipper on the planet. You guys can get it up on the green. I don't have to worry about that shit. We're significantly better as a scramble. Max Homa is absolutely going down. If you're in the Arizona area, if you're near Scottsdale, in between, where's the actual town that we're doing this in?
It's Maricopa. It's like right next to Maricopa, Arizona.
So you guys got to come down. You're going to see Max Homa play against a bunch of fucking hacks, and he's going to lose.
Yep.
And that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to drink a lot of drinks, and we're going to have a lot of fun on that golf course.
So Auction Southern Dunes, 1 p.m. Tuesday of next week. That's the 22nd of February. It is the 4-man scramble against Max Homa, and he's taking it quite seriously. He texted me yesterday, and I asked him a little bit about Riviera and his excitement level for our match, and he said everybody knows that this is the prep for the real major on Tuesday, and then he's also going to be bringing out his boy Joe Greiner, who's his caddy, so I think he's going to give us the full Kevin Kisner treatment, where I think he's going to be in full PGA Tour outfit. I think he's going to have the full tour bag. He's going to have his caddy out there walking with him. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Max and Joe are like, no, we're working. This is a tournament event. So we got to bring it. I just looked. Max Homa averages over 305 yards off the tee this year on the PGA Tour. And imagine at this golf course again where there's not a ton of trouble, he's going to be ripping that driver probably 315 to 320 pretty consistently in Arizona. But that's okay. We have Frankie with the stealth bomb now. Can hit it. Like, I watched him hit one 317. Is that what you hit it, Frankie?
It was it was 292 carry, 317 total.
Dude, I dare you. This is an official dare. I dare you to outdrive Max Homa at least once during this 4-man scramble.
We got to look up. I mean, Max can hit the fucking ball.
Yeah, dude.
Really far.
Those numbers Riggs just read off.
You're not going to be able to believe how far he drives the golf ball. Like,
just catch one, dude.
He's a ball striker, so he's pretty smart and strategic around the course, which affects his driving distance stats. I just looked him up compared to all the other guys we've played, though. I mean, he's 50th in the world in driving distance. Perez is like 90-something. Kiz is like 100. And Kiz and Joel Damon are both like 150-something. So in terms of the guys that we've played so far, he is going to hit it significantly farther than anybody we've played against so far, which is fine because we're playing great golf. So come on out on Tuesday. Auction, Southern Dunes. It's a really cool spot. It's a pretty flat course, so it's not a hard walk. And we're going to have fans out there. We're going to have a great time. Weather looks like it could be a bit chilly, maybe like low 60s or so, which is great for us because we got, I think, Trent and Lurch. You guys both love that kind of weather. I think it's like your favorite temperature in the world.
That's perfect. I was concerned that Arizona weather was going to like be way too hot. I thought it was going to be 80. So to hear that it's going to be low to mid 60s, at least I think I'll survive. I think I'll live.
It's a dream. Today's episode brought to you by our friends at SimpliSafe. SimpliSafe's awesome. I just completed my order for Frankie and I are both recent homeowners, and I got the SimpliSafe home security system. I got their cameras are so cool that I got 4 of them. I just ordered 4 of them. I don't even know what I'm going to do with them, but their technology on these things, they're so badass that I figured I have to just get as many of these cool cameras. Then I also got their smart locks, which you can just activate from your phone. So you can make sure, if you're worried or you didn't lock something, or, I'm going to rent my place out a good amount. So you can just change the code, the lock, unlock it, all that. And all their technology is fantastic. Frankie, you're a SimpliSafe guy too.
Just got my box today. I mean, you got to see what comes in this thing. I mean, I can rattle it off. It's the SimpliSafe custom home security system. It's a base station, the wireless keypad, 2 entry sensors, 4 motion sensors, a glass break sensor, video doorbell pro. You can see the people walking into your doorbell. You've got 3 SimpliSafe cameras, 1080p is all the specs on that thing. You've got an outdoor security camera, which is different than the Simply Cam, I guess. I don't even know how that's different. You got included the door lock pin pad. You've got carbon monoxide detectors, freeze sensors, key fobs, smoke detectors, water sensors, window decals. The list goes on and on. The lock thing that you were talking about, if you walk out of the house and forget to lock your door, it just automatically slowly locks. They show the video of it just going dead bolts right into your fucking door. It is an amazing system, SimpliSafe, and the best part is the box it comes in is just, you can hold it no problem. You think all those things would be like the biggest fucking package you've ever seen in your entire life. It's tight, neat. Everything's in their individual box, and all this stuff is battery powered, and you stick them on the walls, and like the battery lasts 3 to 6 months. You have to just swap out the battery. It's as simple as that. I'm telling you guys right now, when you deal with all these other companies where it's hardwired through the walls and you don't know if they're going to fucking actually be able to censor all of it, this stuff is new age. It's easy. It's not wired. It's wireless. It's simple. It's simple, and you're safe. I mean, there's things I never would have thought of, like the shattering sensor. Yeah, I mean, I need that.
I'm a big fan of their new wireless outdoor camera, like I said, so I got 4 of them. You can customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at SimpliSafe.com/foreplay. Go today, claim a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring. That's a damn good deal. Again, you can claim free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring. Go to SimpliSafe.com/foreplay. Thank you for keeping us safe. That is SimpliSafe.com/foreplay. Okay, a few updates on the Saudi Arabian Golf League situation. It does feel like it's just rumor at this point. It's just hearsay. Report, I'm going to put Dr. Evil air quotes on it, reports that 17 guys have committed to the Saudi League, including a handful of big names. A lot of whispers that Bryson DeChambeau is that big name, that he has told other people that he will not be playing on the PGA Tour again, that he is moving on to the Saudi Golf League, and it makes a lot of sense. He's obviously a big name. He drives a ton of engagement traffic. I don't know that he gives a shit if his reputation, again, Dr. Evil air quotes, is Dr. Evil air quotes ruined by going to Saudi Arabia. I don't know that he really cares about that kind of stuff. They're probably going to offer him $100, $150, $200 million. And I think that that's probably what matters to him, or seems to be mattering enough that everyone is saying he's the guy that's going to go. We had Colin Morikawa came out very strongly supporting the PGA Tour. He said a quote that I loved where he said, "My entire life I've thought about the PGA Tour. I've thought about playing against Tiger and beating his records." He went on to say, "The best players, as far as I see, are all sticking with the PGA Tour. We've all heard rumors of this date, this date, this date. What are they actually waiting for? There still have been no names. We come back to evidence, concrete evidence of what's going on. Right now it's an unknown. It's a hidden thing. It's not enough." And then Rory McIlroy said, "Look, I've lived it for the top guys. All that money really isn't going to change their life. I'm in a way better financial position than I was a decade ago, and my life is no different. I still use the same 3-4 bedrooms in my house. I just don't see the value in tarnishing a reputation for extra millions," which is a great point, where a lot of folks have said, you're going to make $50, $100, $200 million over 15, 20 years on the PGA Tour for a lot of these big names. Why rush over to blood money and ruin your reputation, not be allowed to play in potentially certain tournaments, et cetera, when you're already making a ton of money here? Is it really a difference? How many yachts can you water ski behind? Kind of a mantra. So there's a lot going on, a lot of smoke. I have to imagine in the next few weeks here, something concrete gets announced from this tour. Otherwise, they're just going to keep doing this bullshit, I think.
I also saw our upcoming foe, Max Homa, gave a great answer as well. Basically, it was a long answer and it was a good answer, but I don't have it in front of me. But essentially, he was saying the things that the PGA Tour provide are something that no other tour, certainly no upstart tour, can provide. And he's talking about specifically this week at Genesis, where what breakaway tournament is going to be able to provide a tournament where Max wins. It's hosted by Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods hands you the trophy. It's a golf course that Max had grown up going to. And so he's just got a lot of these, I don't know if you'd call them intangible connections, but there's just a lot of things that the PGA Tour offers you simply having existed for as long as it has. And it has guys like Tiger Woods involved who host tournaments, or when Jack hosts a tournament. Like, the breakaway leagues don't have that. So if you're a person who like values your place in the game of golf, and he also said not everybody does. Like, there are people out there who just play for money, and if they want to go make $100 million in the Saudi League, then they're going to do that because they're in it for the money. But if you're a guy like Max, and I think a lot of guys on tour are, who want to, build a legacy and participate in these tournaments where the greats are hosting, and if you are good enough in a particular week, that great will hand you a trophy, and then you have all these memories every year when you come back. Like, a breakaway league just simply cannot provide that.
Yeah, word for word, this is actually what he said, and it's really interesting, so I felt like we had to say it.
Sure.
It's an interesting dynamic we've got going. This is Max Homa speaking, by the way. I'm Max Homa. I love the PGA Tour. Driving up to this golf course with memories of winning a golf tournament that Tiger Woods handed me a trophy at, they don't have that in a breakaway league. Money's cool. People out here, some people say for the money, some people play for the love of it. I guess the enjoyment of the successes. But I can promise you right now that the furthest thing from my mind, and the furthest thing from anyone's questions really, was that when I won this golf tournament, I made the most money that I've ever made in one lump sum, $1.67 million. And that's not the part that I remember. That's my take on it. So, it really it's almost a lesson in life that it's not just about golf. The way these guys are talking right now, Rory's saying he uses the same 4 bedrooms in his mansion, his massive, massive house. Compound is the word I was looking for. By the way, he's speaking right now as I talk. He's looking real gray. Rory's starting to get gray.
Yeah, I think
it happens to the best of us.
But I can't tell. I think he's been. I remember Gray's kind of popping up on him when he was like 25 or so, and maybe he just fermented it, and now maybe he's got a kid. He just doesn't care, and he's just kind of letting it roll.
I like Silver Fox Rory.
Yeah, he looks amazing right now.
He's gonna gray very well.
Fantastically well. But yeah, it's Dave Portnoy has said this before, where he's like, at some point you make enough money to just be like, I'm done caring about that. Like, how much more could you possibly have? When some of these guys ruin their reputation, some guys leave some of these teams to go from 100 million to 200 million, and they ruin their reputation, and they leave their team. Or you're like a John Tavares, and you like could have had a really amazing thing on Long Island, and you like went for more money and all this stuff to Toronto, right? Like a Robinson Cano, I remember, went to Seattle because he was making more money.
Did Johnny Damon do something similar? Johnny
Damon went from the Red Sox to the Yankees for all the money in the world, and it's just at some point, like, yes, you want as much money as possible, and that's like the everyday average man thing to want. At some point, you become more than that. A Rory McIlroy, even a Max Homa is making just like ungodly money, and you stop thinking about it. You just like, what? How many more houses? How many more Ferraris can someone buy? You know what I mean? At some point, It doesn't matter. It's just like, it's a number that cannot be spent.
Yeah, and I agree that if it were the difference between making $500K a year or making $25 million a year,
huge difference.
Everybody understands that. Or even making $2 or $3 million a year versus making $15 million a year. That's an enormous difference. You do that for a few years, your entire future is completely different. Financial security, all of that. But like he's saying, for them to draw the top guys has to be really difficult for the Saudi League to draw them because these guys are already making a ton of money. And for them to make a little bit more, like the last part of Rory's for tarnishing a reputation for extra millions, right? Extra millions. Not like a necessity, a required, a really important, influential to your life and your family's life millions. It's extra millions. That maybe that's another house on the other coast of Florida or something. That doesn't really fucking matter. It's not
Still
really
cool.
going to change your life at all. It's great. It's fucking awesome. We all want to make money, like you said. But I think for those top 5-10 guys, we're always making a lot of sense in that. Why would they go, risk this blood money, this horrible reputation, not playing in tournaments with Tiger Woods in the tournament or, presenting the trophy, not having the chance to potentially play in some major championships or the bigger events on the PGA Tour, the Players, the Phoenix Open, the Memorial, like these big tournaments that have a ton of history when you show up and there's important records that you're trying to chase because you're not chasing the money at that point, or at least you're not chasing it. That's not your main focal point. You are chasing your legacy and records and history. And that's what fulfills them. That's why they go practice all the time. They've already got the millions, and now you're doing it for some hollow new, league. And Max left it a little bit open there, being like, I'm not, like, maybe these other leagues will be great. Who knows? But at the current time, it's like, it seems if your priorities are not strictly just making the most dollars down to the cent that you could possibly make, it seems like there's so many more reasons to stay with the PGA Tour.
Yeah,
when you look at,
I'll play devil's advocate like I have been for the past couple weeks with this, but if you do decide it's about the money, which a lot of guys in sports do, that's been proven amongst every contract negotiation that's ever happened in all of sports. I mean, Juan Soto just declined $350 million over 13 years to play for the Washington Nationals. He's expecting $500 million by the Washington Nationals. That's something that's happening right now as we speak. So we can't act like money does not matter. If you do act like money matters to like ungodly money, that's all they want. They don't care where it's coming from. They just want fucking money. The Saudi League is the easiest way for them to get it. They do not have to perform on any sort of level to make money. It's a fucking guaranteed check, which is not currently available on the PGA Tour or any other league like it in golf. They are guaranteeing a check no matter how hard he works, no matter how much effort he puts into his body, no matter how many steroids, quote unquote, he has to put in. He doesn't have to fucking change his life ever. And he gets to play in the US Open, the Masters, and anything else he really wants to do. The Open, I mean, he just misses what? The PGA Championship? We fucking love the PGA Championship. We love Seth Waugh, but at the end of the day, like, he's going to have to come up with something more to stop these guys from making $150 million. That's not going to be the saving grace, is that championship. So, I don't know, man. They get to do everything they want. They get the prestige. They get to get all the trophies. They get to fucking be on the billboards. They get to still be a huge part of golf. And they get guaranteed cash. Yes, it's blood money. Yes, it's horribleness. But, like, guys are going to do it. And once one guy does it, they're all going to kind of fall in line.
I as usual, Rory to me made the best point, and it's a little bit what we talked about last time, where the guys who have the most potential, or the guys who are getting the biggest offers from the Saudi League, have the most earning potential on the tour. Just stick around for a fucking decade, and you'll have the money that the Saudis are offering you, and your life. Rory said it. His life didn't change.
I get that, but like that's like telling a football player, like, just take this contract where, like, you're gonna perform over the next 4 or 5 years.
Dude, it's
like,
not football.
Yes, it is, because, like, that guy could get hurt the next year. It's not guaranteed money. There's no guaranteed money. I understand that they have the highest potential, but that's a massively important word there. Potential. Tomorrow, if Bryson DeChambeau signs on the dotted line, he gets a guaranteed, whatever the number might be. We don't know. It's behind closed doors. It hasn't been leaked yet. $100-something million. That is guaranteed. He could never hit a ball in the fairway ever again, and it does not matter. That you can't tell me that doesn't.
But he
come
still has to
account.
show up and play and everything. Like,
Sure, but he doesn't have to win. For him to make the
like,
potential earnings, he got to win like 4 more U.S. Opens. He has to keep
But
going
no,
on and
I
on.
don't know that he does. He's gonna have those sponsors. He's gonna he's not. And Bryson, I don't know. It doesn't strike me the guy. He's not gonna be like, okay, I don't have to practice or care about golf. I just show up for the next 5 years. Like, I think he's still gonna be neurotically crazy about trying to be the best golfer that he possibly can. So if that's not gonna change, what's the difference?
It also shows a lack of self-confidence. Like, if you think you're not like, you want the guaranteed
Sure, but
money.
yeah, now you guys are just like throwing out the idea of guaranteed contracts. Like, you're acting like that stuff is not important at all.
But you're acting like they can't make just as much money on the PGA Tour.
They absolutely can, but that's why every fucking football player fights for guaranteed contracts and signing bonuses and all of this stuff. Like, the best quarterbacks on the planet are like, yes, I absolutely think I'm going to go out there and work my ass off and win Super Bowls and lead the league in touchdowns but like
football
I need
is very
money
different to me.
Why is it different? It's literally it's a singular base.
It's a contact sport.
Okay,
you have a much higher probability of getting hurt.
Okay, you can easily get hurt in golf, or you can easily just fall off.
As easily as football?
No, but you can easily stop performing at your level at any given day. Your back could fucking hurt. Your arms could. I mean, Bryson right now is not playing the PGA Tour. He says his back hurts, his arm hurts. Brooks Koepka's missing tournaments left and right. His wrist, his forearm, he hit a stump. There's still ways to not make the money. I'm just saying, like, Jordan Spieth has not been making the potential amount of money that he would have been making over the past 5 years.
He was the highest on the Forbes list like every year.
I understand that because he was playing to a potential that would make him that money. My point is that if someone would have paid him that potential from a Saudi league 5 or 6 years ago and said, we think your potential is this, we're going to give you $400 million because you just fucking are on the top of the Forbes list, you don't think he would have signed that and been like, I don't have
because
to
I
do
think
this
that's
again.
pretty similar to what he had. He had that from Under Armour. It's like he was getting X amount. That's the reason he was on the top Forbes, not because he's winning every tournament. Like the difference in what he was making actually on the PGA Tour, I would say in this whole scope of things is marginal. Like the difference between a guy making like 15 or like 9 million, depending on how good of a year they had, when Spieth's making fucking 30 or 50 million a year from endorsement contracts. Like those are guaranteed. He's making that shit. Yeah, he makes some bonuses, but that shit's fucking guaranteed. That's why him. That's why Ricky. That's why Ricky's on every commercial in the world. Like he's got guaranteed money left and right. Now, I'm not saying that what you're saying isn't appealing to anyone. Clearly it's going to appeal to some people because those guys are going to make this league happen, it sounds like, based upon all the rumors. But I just think that there are a lot of guys that are going to be in the Rory, Morikawa, Max Homa boat of, I'm already making a ton of money. It's great. I care a lot more at this point about, the PGA Tour, this history, this legacy, competing in this world. The PGA Tour has been good to me. I'm excited about it. This is what I love to do. I've dreamt about this my entire life. I don't have big complaints with the PGA Tour. Not enough to go off and take blood money, and I don't need blood money. So I'm here, I'm rolling, and it's fucking great. And I think a lot of guys come from that vantage point.
Okay, so I have something to ask, right? I have something to ask. If this wasn't coming from blood money and it was just another tour, let's say it's the opposite of blood money tour. It's the Canadian tour, all these nice how you doing sorry people making maple syrup and cutting down trees all the time playing hockey. Let's say they offered Bryson DeChambeau $250 million to go play in their tournament. He can never play in the Genesis Open again, and he can never play in fucking Bay Hill. You don't think that he would take the guaranteed cash over all this other bullshit that he has to do for the next 5 or 6
Of course I do.
years?
He's already taking the Saudi one.
Okay, so now, but do you think more guys would be appealed to that because of guaranteed money as opposed to where it's coming from? Do you think the source of the money is the only issue?
No, I don't think it's the only issue at all. I think it's one of the issues for sure.
Okay. I genuinely think that that's the only reason why you guys would think a player wouldn't take guaranteed money over the other stuff. They can still play in the prestigious tournaments. They're playing in the majors. I don't understand why they wouldn't take the guaranteed money. And the only reason I can understand it is because it's coming from people that are like committing hate crimes against humanity.
But I think you're giving too little credit. You're not giving enough credit to the rest of the PGA Tour, which while it's not as exciting to everyone, and Tiger Woods didn't prioritize it necessarily, those guys, that's their whole life. That's what they do all year long. That's what they enjoy. Like when Max Homa won at Riviera last year, he said, like, maybe outside of the Masters, that is the biggest tournament for him that he could have won. He's from California. That's his favorite golf course in the world. That was the thing for him. That was number fucking one, basically. And now he's going to go off and play in Saudi Arabia. Like, I don't think that has the same meaning to him. I think he is not even considering it. And whether that comes from the Canadian, hey, sorry, how are ya league or the Saudi league, I don't know that particularly matters to that person. I think, again, like chasing what Tiger Woods did, right? Like Morikawa, that's why he invoked Tiger Woods' records. Like that shit fucking matters to those people, and that's why. And guess what? They're also making tens of millions of dollars while doing it.
I'll say this. I hope somebody does it. Just to see. Like, I know it seems fucked up to say but that's just like the arena that we're dealing with right now in terms of like potentially players going to play in the Saudi league. Like, it'd be a hell of an experiment if Bryson DeChambeau took the money and went. Like, I would love to. What would happen? What would happen to Bryson?
Yeah.
What would the people's perception of Bryson be? Like, how often would we see? Like, it's it's so preposterous, and the idea of it is so insane, and the people who are giving them that money are horrible people. But what if you just see Bryson do it and like, what the fuck happens?
It's definitely drama. And I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm trying to show the other side. There's a reason why these talks are happening. I love the Rory McIlroys. I love all the people that love the PGA Tour. We love the PGA Tour. It's been a part of our lives it's why they are who they are. That's my other devil's advocate on that side. The PGA, they are who they are because of the PGA Tour. Bryson is the only reason he's going to the table with these people to make this money is because of what the PGA Tour has done for him. It's like the Barstool thing where it's like Alex Cooper goes to Spotify, makes $60 million. She came from Barstool Sports. She was nothing at first. Now she's like the biggest podcast on the planet. And she always calls back to like Dave, and she talks about that in her interviews. And she says like that, you have to be able to talk highly about the PGA Tour. It's crazy at this point that there's this split, thought on what they're doing. Tiger Woods is doing a press conference at a PGA Tour event right now. I will follow Tiger Woods until I'm dead. That's what I'm going to say.
All right. Clearly, we're in a little screaming match. I like it. This is what this tour. I mean, we're not the only room that's been screaming at each other over these two leagues going at it, so it's good. It's going to be interesting to watch. We got a great interview, so that's going to be interesting for you to watch as well. Here is Maurice Allen. All right, folks. We are joined by a world-long drive absolute competitor, I believe twice ranked number one in the world. Trent and I, one of our first golf videos we ever did, is we went down to, what was it, Thackerville, Oklahoma? Is that what it was called?
Yep, Thackerville, Oklahoma.
And we covered the world long drive in like 2017, and it was awesome. It delivered one of the funniest clips I've ever seen where Trent smoked a drive and then threw his driver into the driving range. But we're joined by Maurice Allen, who's, again, an absolute competitor and crushes the ball. Welcome to the show for the first time.
Appreciate it. Thanks, man.
So I'm going to start with, I need you to help me figure out how to hit the golf ball farther, because we got Frankie Borelli down there who's like this wiry, kind of pathetic figure from an athletic standpoint who hits it like 315. And I consider myself a legitimate athlete, and I hit it like 265, and I can't figure it the fuck out, and it drives me crazy.
Well, wow. So if he's pathetic and you're so far behind him, what does that make you? Just Frankie, I got you. Don't
it's
even
a great start,
Maurice.
Listen,
you don't even have to say anything.
That's
way how it was just so disrespectful. The shade was beyond ridiculous. But he's like 40 behind you, so
it's just factual, man. It's infuriating. It's just infuriating. I don't know how you guys do it. What's your longest drive you've ever hit in competition?
Let's see. Competition 483, which actually you all covered when you shot that thing in Thackerville.
Yeah.
And then I hit one
483.
Yeah. Well, I had one 515 that was just out of bounds by like that. Like legit. What? It sucked. It hurt my soul just a little bit because the 500 mark is the mark. Like, and it's all, it's conditions based. But yeah, it was literally, if you take your phone and lay it down, it wasn't the width of a phone. Oh. It was, it hurt. It was.
So how much carry is that? Like, because I've watched the competitions. Those balls, they get going once they hit the ground.
So it's weird. Like the one that I hit 483, I carried it 450. So I only got 30 something yards of roll. I didn't get a lot of roll. And I think it depends on the individual, right? It's obviously conditions based, but I've never gotten a lot of roll. That's why in 18, when it rained that Monday night and like rained heavy, I started smiling because I knew at the end of the day, there was nobody on the planet who carried the ball as far as I did. It was 2.5 inches of water in the grid. So, when you got that, you're just hitting into a lake. And I was like, I got this all day long. Never a doubt.
Wow. That's
man,
those are psychotic numbers.
I remember that year, there was the first day, I think it was into the wind. And then, the second day, I think it was day 2 when it was downwind. And obviously the numbers were like 100 yards different. So we were there for that. 483 was your longest in competition?
So mine was in Denver, but the piece that you all put out during World Championships, you showed a clip from it and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then in practice and not in competition, what's your record?
I drove a par 5 one day when I was playing golf with my friends in Atlanta. It was like 425 or something like that. 525. Put it on the green, lipped out for 2. Tapped in for 3.
Oh, Incredible. What's your full golf game like? What kind of player are you?
Honestly, so it was weird, man. A year and a half ago, I shattered my hand. I was playing in the Diamond Resorts, which is now the Hilton Grand Vacation. I was raising money for my foundation. Second shot, I legit broke my hooker hamate in half and knew it. Second ball of the day. And I kept playing all 4 days with a broken hand. Ended up with, it was a compound injury. Ended up with 5 broken bones between my hand and my wrist. But my thing was I couldn't stop playing because I was raising money for charity. I'm like, well, if I stop on the, first hole, how does that help anybody? So, and then coming back this year, I had the lead after the first day, but I actually hurt my hand on 17. So that sucked. But my golf game, man, it's touch and go. There's some days, I've won some mini tour events here in Florida. I can go out and shoot, 68, but I can also turn around and shoot 83. For me, it's the consistency. It's not necessarily the driver. I don't know. It's just me. I'm just not consistent enough. The game is interesting from that standpoint. But I'm spending this year. I'm doing both long drive and golf, and I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna see if I can try to go to Corn Ferry Q School. I'll be here in Orlando playing the Moonlight Tour. So there's like 3 events every week, and I'll go from there and try to go down south, do the minor league tour. There are a lot of great guys who play on that as well. And if I can start winning some local stuff, then just keep moving up. I'll do U.S. Open qualifier either way, and just see what happens.
Are you
Not to take you back to that injury, but compound, does that mean that it went through the skin?
No, not from compound through the skin, just from a standpoint of like it was just a domino effect, one thing after another.
Oh, it was compounded.
Another.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, so it was, I mean, the first one, I didn't hit a root, I didn't hit anything like that, man. It was the craziest thing ever. And I mean, I'm walking around with a rules official, they let me use my hyper ice massager. I'm walking and I'm literally massage gunning my forearm to death, just trying to take any of the pain away. They were like, oh, we want to take you to the hospital. I was like, nah, I already know what the problem is. I don't want to know how bad, because I'm going to keep thinking about it. And I was with Stacy Lewis one day, and she was like, dude, you got to stop. I was like, when you're playing something bigger than yourself, you can't stop. Probably one of the dumbest decisions I've ever made in my life, though.
I was gonna say it's very commendable. It's for charity. Like that's awesome. But at a certain point, like you might lose the hand if you don't go to the hospital.
I'll be honest with you. I made my peace with it though. Coming from an area where I came from in Orlando, which there are no golf courses. A kid from Pine Hills who didn't play golf growing up to being a world champion, 2-time number 1. I've won on every continent except Africa. If that was how I went out, I was all right with it. I was totally okay with it, because the whole point in the foundation was to give people the opportunity that I had that I didn't even know existed when I was growing up. My mind frame wasn't on the scope of let's play golf. Let's see where that can take us. And then for me to start playing at 28 years old and go where I went with it, I mean, it allowed me to buy a house. It allowed me to help my family out and all these other things. I mean, the game changed me as a human being. It made me a better person. And how could I deny someone else that same opportunity? I mean, the game essentially made me part of, in the relationships I found along the way, made me the person who I am today. So, you can't ever repay what is given to you, but you can always pay it forward. And so I was all right with it. It was totally cool.
It's pretty crazy to be a world champion. I mean, there are 7-8 billion people in the world. Well, millions of them are trying to hit a golf ball as far as possible, and you were just the best, the champion. Is that crazy to you?
So, in all transparency, you have to have a good week. It doesn't necessarily mean you're the best. I was the best in the world in 17. I had a bad week. I couldn't sleep. Justin James ended up winning. I was better than Justin James, hands down, in 17. In 18, Justin James was the baddest man on the planet. A lot of times the world champion doesn't necessarily mean that they won that. It doesn't necessarily mean that they won that, like they're the best at that particular time. It's so weird. Like, I remember probably the biggest one I can ever say is Landon Gentry. Landon Gentry for like 2 years was the baddest man on the planet, hitting the golf ball. He doesn't have a world title. And so for me, I never had the dream of being world champion. Never. It was never a goal for me. I just wanted to do the best I could and be consistent. Mainly because it was how I made my living, right? So if I'm not consistently cashing checks, I'm back sleeping in my car again. That's not a good look. I didn't want that at all. But looking at it, man, it's something so wild to say I'm a world champ. It never really dawned on me. It took me the longest time to really let it sink in and soak in. And even still now, I mean, I don't beat my chest, oh, I'm a world champ. I don't ever bring it up. It's just like, it's one of those fun facts. I guess if I go on a game show, somebody would be like, hey, this guy's a world champ. Or they'd be like, nah, liar, truth. Hell no, that's a lie. I don't know. It's a hell of a lot of responsibility though, when you think about it. I mean, it's nuts.
Boys, I got a new weapon I wanted to talk about, which is this 2-iron. If you recall from when we went the other day and we did the the Kingdom experience, we put that all over the internet. Well, I hit the ball too high because I come in a little bit steep, so he's giving me like an 8-degree driver head. They're turning down my 3-wood to like 13 to 12 degrees. And then he had me hitting this 5-wood. And eventually he's like, I'm liking that. You're hitting the hybrid pretty good, but it's a little high. Why don't you hit this 2-iron? I just started roasting this 2-iron to the point where I hit it 241, I think was the last one that I took a swing at.
Whoa.
This Sim UDI TaylorMade 2-iron, I put it in the bag yesterday. They gave me a couple. They gave me a P, what is it, the 790? P790. They gave me a 2-iron of that too, to see which one I like better. These things are an absolute weapon. I hit one yesterday, 270. I hit one of these 2-irons off the tee.
What?
Dude, and it probably flew 210, 220 maybe. It
It's
feel
so good.
It is such a fun shot to hit. It's awesome. You can check out what we rock, barstoolsports.com/TaylorMade. Go check out our gear. And then obviously the big ticket item that everybody's going bananas about. I was walking with, I said this last week, but I was walking with Kevin Chappell. He's not contracted, TaylorMade guy. He was rocking the Stealth. Pat Perez, he was rocking the Stealth. This puppy, you just gotta go. I also saw, did you see that guy that tweeted at us? His custom Stealth came in over the weekend, and it was like,
yes, blue.
Did you see that thing?
Yeah, it was nuts.
I missed that.
Awesome.
Dude, you can customize the Stealth on their website, all these different colors. You can customize the wings by the word Stealth. You can customize the face to a different color: blue, green, yellow, orange, red. It's insane. You can also do that. You can do that with their putter as well. You go on their website and the that new Spider GT.
It's like the My Spider GT.
Bro, you can customize everything. I'm building out my own right now with a black shaft, black weights, and then black insert, and then orange weights with the blue face. It's like a Islanders black, orange, and blue putter. It's fucking awesome. It's so cool, the customization. Everyone's like, oh, it's a red face. Like, that's amazing. I love the red face personally. But they're like, oh, it's like a little too much for me. You can go customize it. Go on the website. You can get the Stealth with whatever color you want.
So go check out our stuff, barstoolsports.com/TaylorMade. Like Frankie said, all the customization stuff is so sick. It's so fun to play with. I know everybody's obsessed with that stuff. I mean, we're all into head covers and different gear and belts and gloves. Why would you not customize your clubs as well? So TaylorMade does it right. The Stealth is it's changing everything. Tiger Woods came back and played. By the way, I just retweeted something. Tiger Woods was asked, do you anticipate you will play again on the PGA Tour? He just said yes.
Woo!
Awesome.
And he's going to be using the Stealth.
That man, who's the greatest player to ever touch a golf club, he came back in December, the same year of a horrific car accident, almost killed him and ended his life. And he put the Stealth in immediately and outdrove Justin Thomas, I believe, on a few occasions, despite the fact that he obviously does not have a full usage of his legs. So the Stealth is awesome. Go check out all of TaylorMade's great items and what we rock and the Tour Response and the TP5s and everything else at barstoolsports.com/TaylorMade. Yeah, so, we've talked you've touched on it a good amount, the charitable work that you do. It is Black History Month, so it's the best time to kind of raise awareness for a lot of what you've done, which MA360, the foundation, growing golf, inclusion, engagement in golf in Black communities. How are we doing with golf in Black communities?
It's a tough thing, right? for me, and I made this argument in 2020, Roger Steele, who you all obviously know, captured it. And the hardest problem that I have with it is 2020 was an eye-opening year for me, not because of George Floyd, but because of Kobe Bryant. I remember it was the Sunday of the PGA show. I'll never forget it. You know, everybody's watching, Tory, and then they get the news about Kobe, right? They go to Waste Management the next week, and they've got the flag at 8 and 24. Everybody's got Mamba mentality all over the place. It's absolutely beautiful the way how they showed love for Kobe and what he meant to just athletes, not even the game of golf, just any athlete, period. And the next week was Black History Month. There wasn't a single OEM that even acknowledged Black History Month. And that to me was the biggest eye-opening thing in the world. And people say, oh, well, Tiger Woods, arguably the greatest golfer alive is Black. And I'm like, okay, but they didn't even make mention of him. They didn't show anything that he accomplished and tied it into Black History Month. And then, you fast forward, and then everything happens with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. And for me, the whole say their name campaign is so big because people don't understand how much power is in the acknowledgement. I ended up living that the year before when I hit the ball across Niagara Falls, and it was almost like it didn't exist. And I came on a few, podcasts, and I had a few interviews, and it was hilarious to me to hear my white counterparts or, colleagues say, for as big of an accomplishment as it is, thought it would have got a lot more press than that. And it was literally like getting stabbed in the heart. So I think as a whole, there are no companies that have Black influencers. If you look at them, any of the OEMs, there aren't any. I mean, Roger's the only one right now, and that's within the last year. There's no content that shows Black professional golf. Nike did the thing with Drake, and I really wasn't a fan of that because I'm like, well, what does that show? That shows us standing on the top of a golf cart, dancing, doing everything like that, the same old foolishness, but it doesn't show us in the professional realm. There are a lot of amazing Black golfers out there. The fact that, you had 7 women on the Symetra Tour last year that had the opportunity to potentially earn their way to the LPGA. I think you've got 6 this year. Mariah Stackhouse is the model. She's All-American academically, All-American athletically, ends up, anchoring the national championship, live on Golf Channel, the whole 9 yards, plays her ass off. Nothing. She did everything the right way. No bad background, no issues, approachable, can speak very well, all of these different things, and still nothing. I mean, it's at some point the golf world hopefully changes, and it's not people think that it's saying, oh, well, you can't go play golf. No, it's just a respect. And if you look at the private clubs, there are very few Black members. Well, if you look at the private clubs, those are the people who are really running the world. It's not the people who are showing up at your munis. That's not it. The munis, the 4 of us are all the same people. We're all in the same thing. The vast majority of the people in the game aren't the decision makers. When you get to the prestigious clubs, that's when you get to the decision makers. And in those circles, there is no quote unquote integration, or there's no representation. And so without representation in those circles, then how can you ever, market to that demographic? It doesn't exist. And that's where the inclusion goes wrong. I mean, anybody can go to a muni, pick up some clubs, or go to Topgolf and pick up some clubs and do whatever they want to do. And that works. But the powers that be, we're not represented. Now, on the other side of that, we got to play better. I'm not saying go out there and just throw Black folks out there just cause, but there are some people who have great resumes. I mean, I had more sponsors before I won a world championship than I ever did after. I had companies that I went after left, right, and center. And I mean, if you're the world champion surfer, you should have Billabong, O'Neill, everybody down the list beating down your door. I won world championships and it went dark. It was like, Yeah. And you're talking about a guy who gave, I think an accumulation over 3 years, $75,000 to high school kids to go to school, set up some programs here, helping Black golfers get out there, did everything right. And so, what else is there to do? What is the hope? Like, you're taught from the time you're a kid, you have to do things a certain way. And then when you get there, you accomplish those things, and then you still don't get the carrot at the end. Sucks.
100%. And I mean, look, it's just we're four white dudes on a podcast who probably go to those same type of clubs. So it's for us, we're like, oh yeah, you're making a lot of sense, and people should amplify, those types of stories a lot more. Do you think golf? Do you think golf is inherently good for all communities, but especially Black communities?
So I think golf is physical chess, right? I mean, Frankie, I know you don't do this, but somebody, not naming any names, sucks. Okay. He
Don't
probably
hit the ball
goes out
very
there.
far.
No one intends to hit the ball into the water. That's not the goal. You know what I mean? You see the water there, but you're telling yourself, all right, I'm going to the complete opposite side. Golf allows you to get naked. It really does. It allows you to see your flaws. It really brings out your demons. I mean, how many times have you stood over a putt and you're like, all right, just don't pull the putt, don't pull the putt, don't pull the putt. Well, why would you tell yourself what not to do?
Right.
Hey, make a confident stroke, keep your hands in front, keep your hands soft, whatever your triggers are, and just do it. Go activate it. And I think it's in all communities. I don't think it's in Black communities, white communities, brown communities, heavily male populated, heavily female populated. It's literally a game where you are going to mess up. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But how do you recover from the mistake that you made? How do you find a way to clear your damn brain and say, all right, you know what? I can still make something good out of it. I mean, I think Walter Hagen was like, what? All it takes, 3 bad shots can be erased with 1 good shot. I mean, that's honest. I mean, you still have a chance in golf as long as you're, well, Frankie, you understand this, as long as you're on the proper side of par. Someone else is probably, he's out there like, oh, this is for triple. Yeah, you don't have a chance at that. But but it's a game where you get to monitor it by yourself, right? I mean, if you're not trying to be a professional, then who cares? But it's a chance for you to test yourself. Hey, can I make the ball go right? Can I make the ball go left? Can I get it to hit and check? Can I hit the ball further? Can I work on all these different things I need to work on? And you can apply that to life in any way, shape, or form. I mean, you guys with the podcast, it didn't start out easy. It was a tough road to get it going. You had to really grind and put the work in. Okay, golf makes that easier for you. Because in golf, there's times where you just got to grind that shit out. It's not easy. And I mean, I think it really helps people become better human beings as a whole. I think that's what golf does.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think for all of us, right? Like when I first started playing golf after school, or after school, like in high school, college type age, you get into it thinking like, oh, I'm just going to be the best at this. It's just you got to hit the ball straight. You can't be that crazy. You demand so much out of yourself, and you could be one of those frustrated, crazy. And then I think over time you learn, that golf is much more about so many different things and more important things than just hitting a golf ball where you're trying to hit it and spending, like you just said, spending 4.5, 5 hours with somebody on a golf course. It is. You're going to expose everything about yourself, the good, the bad. How do you handle a really good shot? Are you a boisterous asshole right in people's face? Are you humble? How do you handle a horrible shot? Are you an explosive psychopath? Can you laugh it off, right? And like all of those things over 4.5 hours, you learn a lot about. And then being around, other people, you learn that everyone's different. Everyone handles things differently. The interactions, when to kind of lay off somebody, when it's cool to chirp somebody, how they might handle it. Like all of those things are learned on a golf course. And I think it's much cooler. And the Waste Management just kind of showcased some of this too, where like there's so many positives to the game of golf that have been overshadowed, I think, for a long time by the traditional stuffiness of it and the barriers to entry of it. That I feel like the more people that get to know the game and have a real consistent relationship with the game of golf, I think it'll help their lives and make them sort of better people and understand what's important and what's not. And that time out there with friends, is really what you should cherish. And I think that, again, the more people that kind of learn a lot about what the game of golf has to offer, I think it'll only make people's lives better.
I like that you brought up the waste management. I'm very glad that we got on that topic. The funny thing about it for me is it's a real laid back, chill, super casual party. It's not a golf tournament. There's a party going on. There happens to be some guys playing golf during the midst of this party and shenanigans that are going on. But I noticed with the 2 hole-in-ones that happened this week, both of those were Grayson guys, by the way, one time for the Wolfpack. But it was amazing to me to watch how the fans in the stands erupted, totally trashed the hole, and how it was seen as legendary, awesome, blah, 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 blah. But I flipped that and say, okay, well, if it were black people doing that, it would be thugs and hooligans and things of that nature. It would have had a completely different tone. And there is the problem that we face in this world. It's stuff like that. I mean, like the double standard is just so real. I saw there was a coach that just got hammered on for wearing some pink leggings the other day. Her outfit was, her outfit was inappropriate, blah, 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 blah. She's standing there fully clothed, but, we didn't like the fact that she had on these pink leggings and high heels coaching these ladies. But then on the contrary, you have some people totally, what was the stop time between the groups after the hole-in-one for them to clean up everything?
It was a long time.
It had to be at least a 10, 15-minute delay at least.
Right. And so, you're looking at that and I'm like, man, that is, and it's things like that. The issue that I have with it is the double standard. I don't have an issue with people celebrating and throwing the stuff and all that. If that's acceptable, it just needs to be acceptable on both sides of the ball. That's the part that gets me. And that's a real life conversation. You know what I mean? It was really great for Instagram. It was a cool thing because people were shooting videos in the middle of beer and cups raining down all over the damn place. It was like, all right, you're in this, and then you see the volunteers run off like ants, like, yep, here it comes again. I don't want any of this. But there has to be some sense of, I hate the word, but fairness. And that's where I run into some issues with it.
Yeah, I think overall, to me, the waste management, what we saw this last weekend, is a sign that things are trending in a better direction for golf. Because I just think golf is not perfect, clearly, but I think more accepting than it's ever been, of ushering in new era, new types of personalities, new ways that people enjoy the game of golf, more diversity. Like, I think that for me, that sign was like, okay, golf has now, instead of being so uptight and things have to be this way and we only allow this and we only include that, now it's much more, there is going to be a 10 or 15-minute delay. But guess what? Those clips are going all over the internet. They're going viral, like you just said, on Instagram. And people are seeing, in terms of, grow the game, not just for, the traditional, like, privileged white person that's always been able to play, but
it's fun.
People are seeing, right, that you can have fun. You don't have to be buttoned up and proper and feel like you're walking on eggshells. Like, it's fun. Those were just people around the game that were having a shitload of fun. And I think that for other people outside of the game of golf to witness that, no matter who they are, where they are, to be, you couldn't miss those clips. They're all over the place. To see like, oh shit, people are having a great time playing this game. The professionals to the fans to the volunteers were laughing. Like, everybody was having a good time. And I think that's just great for all sides of golf overall.
Well, I think the first things first is you have to look back at the history of the game, right? The history of the game was created for kings, queens, and nobles. So the commoners were never allowed to play the game. And when you look at any type of royalty, there is a way how everything's done in a very quote unquote sophisticated, but very rehearsed manner. There's nothing that is impromptu technically. And so when you look at that, the game tried to hold that for a very long time. But one of the things that made me so, I guess, newsworthy was I understood that I was an entertainer. People, if we didn't have fans, if we didn't have people watching Long Drive wasn't going to exist. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, which is where you see it at right now as we're talking, right? You had to give something for people to tune into. And if you did that, then you had sponsors, because sponsors had an audience that they feel like they could sell to. And the same thing happens in the traditional game. That hole allows the players to go out and throw swag bags out. Bubba's probably one of the best swag bag throwers ever. He comes he comes decked down with it. And the sponsors, even if you look at the last few years, the progression of how sponsors are like, okay, we're going to give our players stuff just to throw out there. We're going to do giveaways and we're going to do all this other stuff because we're trying to engage with the people. And that's what changes this whole thing. There's no reason to be stuffy. It's, people work 9 to 5s or traditional jobs, whatever the hell they're working from day to day. They want to turn on the damn TV and let their hair down and have a great time. They don't want to see a guy, roll in a 50-footer and be like, yeah, I'm too cool. Yeah, we do this all the time. Yeah, it's happening. The traditional golf thing. They want to see what they saw the last two weeks. They want to see Harold running around and his caddy jumping up on him. They want to see the guys go out there and get a hole and run and jump all over the place, run in the stands and chug a beer with somebody. That's what they want to see, because they're like, hey, I can relate. That is exactly what I would do if I did that. When I hit a ball 400 yards, I wasn't out there like, yeah, what's up, no, hell no. I'm running and I'm screaming and I'm yelling, because that's what, I'm sorry, Rich, you would never know what this feels like. Frankie,
No.
you and I, we're closer with that one,
He hit like 315. Like he couldn't chip a ball.
On average, I'm probably 30 to 40 yards further than him.
That's just not, I don't think it's 30 to 40. That's outrageous.
One year, he looks like a very small man.
I'd say he averages 241, 235.
Very
You're making that up. That's just not true. Now he's just lying. Frankie's lying.
Yeah, he looks very small, like a little guy.
Frankie's
like
just lying. Now you're just being mean. Actually, I look pretty large in filling out this frame.
You've got it so tight on you. Yeah, I look large if I do this, but
it's about angles. It's entertainment, baby. You gotta understand.
Is that a youth large jacket you got on there? Youth large?
He's showing the new Peter Millar kids section. That's what they're really spearheading. They're really spearheading 2022 in the kids.
I love it, man.
You fat boy, I bet.
So that's a large short. So the jacket has to be short so it doesn't look like a sundress.
This is my favorite podcast ever.
It's a good jacket.
Nah, but but that's what it's all about, man. People just need to have fun. Like, life is so stressful as it is on a day-to-day. Like, it's like, if you look at comedy, right? Like, that's what makes comedy so amazing, is because everybody laughs. Everybody lets their hair down. They're not holding on to the bullshit. It's like, hey, I'm laughing, you're laughing. You know what? We can find that we have a whole hell of a lot more in common than we have apart. And that's what happens when people start to laugh, when people have a good time. Like you said, 4 hours, 5 hours on a course with somebody, you'll start to see that y'all probably have more in common than you ever thought. And that's the whole beauty of this game, man.
Yeah. No, I totally agree too with the way Riggs is explaining to, like, the way you pictured how 16 is really allowing us to be able to see golf in a different way. I do think that there is no better time for the Maurice Allens of the world to be like, you want to spearhead this. You want to be the voice. You have an amazing voice for your community. And like, now is the best time for us to be able to watch your content, see the stuff that you're trying to, kind of show us that we don't see on a day-to-day basis. You're showing another side of golf that us three idiots don't ever see. I don't have to ever deal with any of that stuff. And it is really, it's eye-opening, and it makes us feel like we want to do something. So, I just want to say I appreciate all the stuff that you're doing, because that's not the easiest thing, to be able to spearhead something as it's dramatic stuff, man. It's really empowering, and makes me feel like we all got to go out and do a little bit more, because it's just not enough right now, the way you're saying it. There should be more influencers. There should be more golf. There should be more, YouTube videos with black golfers showing just 4 hours of black golfers just fucking shooting the shit and playing. Like, we don't see that ever. You see a million white guys just going out and fucking shooting the shit and playing. It just is what it is. I mean, how many, you know what I mean? It's pretty fucking,
it's true.
Like pretty evident, man. It's like, you just go on YouTube golf content and it's not there. So, I mean, for you, I commend what you're doing, and I think it's awesome. And I also want to watch you play a lot more golf, and I want to see how I can stack up against you in driving. So we need to make that happen.
We can set that up. I mean, now if you're gonna stack up with me in driving, first things first is you got to get in the weight room. I don't know what your weight room regiment looks like. I mean, I know you got
Pretty
a
light.
chance because I'm
Pretty
coming
light.
off injury, but
Yeah.
but I'll be honest with you though, man. I've had more good experiences than bad. You know, I'm not one of those people out here like, oh, I hate all white people. Otherwise, this would be a really interesting interview. But
You really hate us. We're super just
well, no, I'll give you the
pale as a
craziest,
ghost.
Be a hell of an interview. Actually, we would make some serious waves if you came on.
Craziest thing ever, man. There's this lady that I call my second mom. You know, when I was in Tallahassee, she was always there. She always made sure, you know, her and my parents have a great relationship. She's like, I'm gonna make sure he's good, and you know, and it was cool. I remember her daughter Hillary came to one of my tournaments, and it was hilarious. She was like, "Hey, I'm looking for my brother," and everybody was like, "Okay, who's your brother?" She was like, "Oh, his name's Maurice." We only have one Maurice here. She's like, "Oh, okay, cool. Where is he?" "That's your brother?" She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "He was like Maurice Allen?" "Yeah." "Well, he's black." "Really? That must have just happened this morning." Like she played it like to the T. Is absolutely hilarious. But I mean, honestly, man, I've had more good than bad. It's like anything else, man. The assholes are 1% at best, maybe 2, but they are the loudest people in the room every time that they go somewhere. It's just, I mean, you see it at scramble tournaments all the time. You know, the rest of the group is chill, but there's like 3 dudes, and they're always just they're on 1,000. Everybody else is at like a 10, 12 maybe, but these dudes are just over the top. And I think that's the thing that makes it. I don't harp on all the negative stuff. I don't act like the negatives don't exist, but I don't act like they're more than they are. I mean, I know when I go places, obviously as a world champ, it's completely different than some guy who's just playing golf, and I get that. But I also believe that it's not every time you're turning around. It's not every course you're going to. It's not every time you tee it up and you put it in the ground. Somebody's like, "Hey, that ain't happening." But I think that there just needs to be more equality in how we market, because all jokes aside, all bullshit aside, to be honest with you, if if you look at it and it's not stereotypically, it's just real life stuff. Minorities are the biggest consumers on the planet, hands down. If you look at it, money in, money out, it's just the way it is. No one has ever marketed to the minority consumer in golf. Whoever decides to do this shit is going to be a millionaire. For anyone in golf who's listening to this podcast, it would be amazing if someone decided to do that. If someone made black people the face of your brand, if a ball company put a black face as the face of your ball or one of the faces, your clubs, whatever, if you start putting black people in your stuff, you know, black people would actually start supporting y'all a whole lot more.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. It's just a way of making money. I don't know. I don't know nothing else.
It's a great point, dude. I mean, it's just stuff we don't think about, man. Like Monday through Friday goes along. We do a podcast about golf. We talk about it, and then we just go on our day. And all of a sudden, like you look back and you're like, well, we did like there was nothing that you're talking about that happened in our week, right? And now all of a sudden we have you come onto our show and really just open our eyes to it. Not to the sense where like we were ignoring it, but it's just something that's not in the present day of golf, right? Like it's just not in our face. It's not on billboards. It's not, you know, brands aren't attaching themselves to that like they should. And it's just as clear as day, like what you're saying. Like it just needs to be fixed. It needs to be better on all accounts. Has to be better.
Yeah, but I think it's a two-sided thing, man. The only way you argue is if 2 people or 2 parties are arguing, right? Other than that, you got to be mentally unstable. So there's always a responsibility on both sides, you know, and that's just the way I look at things. It can't always be one-sided. One-sided can't be everything. And too many times in life, we use the words all. I'm a scientist. It's a very bad word. All is terrible. I never use all. Sometimes, most times, you can use those, but all is bad. And sometimes, actually, a lot of times, the people who are trying to help are the first ones to get shot. You know, there's a lot of great white people out there. Like as my coach says all the time, if it weren't for a few good white people, we'd all still be in chains. And that's the realest statement I've ever heard in my life. because we couldn't have freed ourselves. And that's real. There were people, and there are people still to this day who want to help, who genuinely want to help. And you can't lump the good with the bad. You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You just can't do it. It doesn't work that way. And I think when you have these conversations, like you said, there's nothing wrong with it not being on your radar every day when you are doing what you do. That it's just not a part of your reality. It's like me telling you it's raining in Korea. You're like, okay, but I don't live in Korea. Why does that doesn't affect me? I mean, is it bad that it's raining in Korea right now? Is it not bad? Is it I don't have enough information with what you're telling me. And that's really what it is. And that's why I say the representation matters. It's just, they need to hire people. They need to have people who are sitting in the room and say, hey, we're not checking boxes, but we need to make sure that we're also, marketing to this community. And if you want to look at it just in numbers, hey, we'll make more sales here. Oh, okay. We're not getting in this community and we got 0 sales here. So, hey, it's an untapped entity over here. You might want to get a little bit of that.
Oh, 100%. I'd be, like I said, first of all, it's very important for us to get your perspective, especially on our show, because every show for 100 shows of the year, it's just us four middle-class white guys that are pretty much just the standard on our YouTube. That's what we post. That's what we cover a lot of the time. So getting this perspective is incredibly important. I think it'd be fantastic if we positioned ourselves with you, as all of a sudden Foreplay has got like a line of golf apparel that is appealing to the black golf community. If we're rolling out like videos, like we got to figure something out. You're right, because if we could amplify that and work, with you, whether it's YouTube videos, whatever the hell we could possibly do to help to just put this more on the forefront of the entire golf community. I think it would do, it would do wonders for countless people. And like Frankie said, it is eye-opening when, you roll a lot of things out from your perspective, which is completely different than ours. It makes a ton of sense, and it makes you be like, oh, how the hell come things aren't getting covered the way that they should or amplified the way that they should? And it makes me, A, be like, oh yeah, we're fucking idiots. We should have been covering that. And B, it makes me think like, okay, we should figure out how to help. People can go to your foundation. I believe ma360foundation.org. That's the website, right?
And yeah, that and growthegame.golf.
Growthegame.golf. And let's set some stuff up. Let's get out there and create some stuff. Maybe you teach me how to hit the long ball so everybody can stop fucking making fun of me saying I look small on Zoom and that Frankie hits the ball like 100 yards farther than I do.
Frankie Baby Gap's throwing a fit over here. Oh no, hold on, wait. You're Abercrombie, no Fitch, just Abercrombie. That's the kid's version.
Shit.
God damn.
Fucking killing you. He's fucking
with a knife, baby. No, but I honestly think, man, I'll be honest with you. I played this thing called the Sunshine Open at Mayfair in Sanford. I think there were 90 players. It was the trippiest thing ever. 30 of them were black. It was the dopest shit in the world to me. I was like, wow. And it wasn't an APGA event or anything. I was like, whoa. And so there's a renaissance in black golf that's taking place right now, man. And if you guys want to be a part of it, do some player profiling or just, when people are playing well, talk about them, man, that would mean the world to me. But Frankie, I'm actually not a voice at all. Roger Steele is definitely a much better voice than I am. Roger is like no other. He is very strategic and thoughtful. I'm not. I'm like a bull in a china shop. So
I think you're selling yourself short.
You're
man.
selling yourself short.
You are
he's
one
so much
fucking
better than
speaker.
I am, man.
No.
But
I'm not saying he's not. But I'm saying that you're also incredible at speaking.
He's better than I am. It's okay. It's all right. It's kind of like someone not saying that you're better than they are at hitting the ball off the tee. They're constantly trying to find ways. Yeah. Sometimes you got to accept where you are in life. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it.
She takes 100 miles here on the. Frankie hits it a little farther than I do. I'll beat him. It's not.
But you score better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Way better. Let's not be ridiculous here. Way better.
See, there you go. See, everybody's got something. Everybody's got their lane.
But I want to be able to hit the long ball. Everybody's trying to hit the long ball.
Why, if you're scoring good? Stop.
Because I don't hit it very far.
That's a good point. It's cool. Ego. It's all about your ego. Okay. There's no reason.
Oh, what, you're acting like we all walk through life without a little bit of an ego? Of course we have an ego. That's just our belief in ourself, our self-worth.
Okay. I'll ask you one simple question. There was a famous playoff that just took place a couple months ago. Patrick Cantley and Bryson DeChambeau. Who took home the bigger check? I'll wait. And who
Cantley,
hit the
I get it.
ball?
I'm not. You're almost arguing against yourself here because you're the world long drive champion. But I'm not saying it's the only thing I want to be able to do in the world is hit the ball far. I just want to be able to hit it farther. I would like to be able to hit the ball pretty far. I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah, but then you'll lose some stuff as well. That's the harsh reality. When you start to gain distance, very few people gain distance and keep everything intact. It's a very tough thing to do. And most people who do it fail miserably. They lose their touch, they lose their accuracy, and the things that make them so great in the scoring portion of the game, which is what the game is all about. Now, if you want to go put on some pounds and let's go do some amateur long drive stuff, I'll coach you. But if you're telling me you want to play good golf, let's stick with what you got. Maybe get some equipment changes, but let's not try to hit it further. Let's see if we can find some equipment that allows you to do it.
You brought up an interesting.
Found some great equipment, TaylorMade Golf, the Stealth. I'm hitting it pretty far actually now. All right, grooming products, shower, body wash, shampoo, all of that stuff. Barstool Sports enlisted one of the greats in the world when it comes to this stuff, and we created all of our own, and it's called Wood. And I'm telling you, I've been using this body wash now for whatever. Been out for 3 or 4 weeks. We've been rocking this stuff. Is that right?
Something like that.
Yeah, it
smells so good.
It's just different than the other stuff. You can just tell it's more premium. It's made with better ingredients, and it's just a much better product than you're used to. Not enough people put thought and effort into what type of stuff they're showering with, whether it's the type of shampoo or body wash or face wash. And the Wood was like it was actually thought about on how to make it as good as possible and as smelling good as possible. We saw the process at Barstool. They were like the bar, like testing the smells and all the feel and all of that stuff. And they got like a famous guy from the industry to like come in and do it. It's insane. So give it a try. I'm telling you, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, I'm probably one of those guys before this who doesn't really think about it. So I'm grateful for Wood because clearly they've thought about it. We watched the process, like Frankie said. I use the body wash every day. Fresh Tracks is the name of it. I literally use it every morning, and it makes me smell great, and I'm going to continue using it. Like, it's a great product, and I'm glad that Barstool Sports got into this space because it's so good.
You can shop Wood at getwood.com, GETWOULD.com, or at your local CVS. All products $15 and less. All products are sulfate free. They got beard and shave. They got face wash, body wash, hair care, golden hour, fresh tracks, shampoo and conditioner, deodorant available in 3 different scents, which is the Summer House, the golden hour, and the fresh tracks. So do yourself a favor. Go to getwood.com or shop at your local CVS.
You brought up an interesting name, Bryson DeChambeau. What's his perception in the World Long Drive community? What do people like him? Do you guys dislike him? Obviously, he brings a few more eyeballs to it, but like, okay?
Nope, wrong.
Okay,
dead wrong on that one.
Fair.
But how? How does he not? How does he not bring more eyeballs to it?
There's a beautiful thing called YouTube that you spoke about earlier, and all you gotta do is look at the views. The views actually were not any greater when he competed. Still to this day, the most views in long drive are me when I won in 18, literally quadruple anything they've ever had. And
why do you think
Bryson,
that is? Why do you think that is? Because you're
it's honestly as dumb as it sounds. It's because I'm black and it's like a unicorn. Everybody was like, "Holy shit, who's this black dude?" I mean, trust me. Don't get me wrong. It sometimes works in your benefit. I swear to God, if I was a white dude who did the Ric Flair, no one would have given a shit, my man. Real talk. I mean, how many hockey teams and baseball teams, when you go down and you do Ric Flair, no one cares. Everybody's like, yeah, whatever. Then all right. Black dude does it on a golf event. Oh my, it turns into a viral thing, right? And so there are times when it is in your favor. Very far and few in between, but it's one of those things. With Bryson, I think what he brings to the table, which no one is talking about, is the potential for true corporate sponsorship, which is what the sport needs more than anything. The eyeballs, you got the stiff necks in golf that they were pumping them during the Ryder Cup and during the playoffs. The people who are watching that are the stiff ones in golf. It's not the waste management crowd. Okay. And that's just being 100% honest with you. The people who are interested in long drive are the same people who are on the 16th hole at waste management. It's not your people who are watching the majors. It's just not. It's the people who want to go out, crack a beer, have a great time, and just chill out. And so that part, I think he's doing an amazing job from bringing corporate sponsorship to the table. I wouldn't be shocked if Rocket and all these other people get into it. Obviously, Puma came out with a low lofted club, which they'll probably put on the long drive market. As far as how long drivers look at him, I don't know because I wasn't competing during that event. I know Bryson personally outside of that, and we've known each other for about 4 or 5 years now. And so my relationship with him is different. It's not, long drive Bryson, or it's just, it's different. I think that from that standpoint, did he compete well? Yeah, he competed very, very well. The other part of it was, unfortunately, a lot of the people, I don't think that was actually a world championship event because the field wasn't a world championship field. There were a lot of people who just couldn't get there because of restrictions. They called it a world championship, but it wasn't. Were there still a lot of great players there? Yes. But was it as stacked as it could be or normally would be? Not even close. But it also gave rise for a new breed of golfer, a new breed of long driver, people that no one had ever heard of, guys who now found inspiration to go out there and do this. And they obviously had a good performance at that event. And so now they're riding the wave of that. But I think the thing that Bryson brings to the table are the intangibles, honestly. I mean, that weren't there before, that could give it the ability to move forward and stick around for a long time, which I hope it does.
You're not crazy about Bryson. That's okay. That's fine.
No,
We're
I
not
don't have
crazy
any
about
problems with
Bryson on the
Bryson.
show either.
I like Bryson. I have zero problems with Bryson. The difference is I just don't subscribe to the foolishness of, oh, well, he brought more eyes. Because if he did, they would have put it on TV and it would have been on YouTube because they announced it a month before. Someone would have found a way for it to be on TV if he really moved the needle like that. I mean,
I'll agree with you on that. That maybe the views for sure that's just as plain as day. It's
Right.
just one view versus one view. The thing that I would say is that a top 10 player on the planet on the PGA Tour actively trying to hit the ball as far as possible and trying to become a long drive competitor is definitely making the conversation more about long drive than it ever has been in just golf community. Like, can we agree on that?
Yeah, no, hands down. I agree with that. And my whole thing was it didn't transfer the views.
Right.
So if you look at it, right, when I won in 18, it was not on anything. It wasn't every week on CBS or NBC or talking about it on the Golf Channel a million times a day through the same shows because they don't have any content and so on and so forth and all this other stuff, right? It wasn't that. It was everywhere you turned, in every golf magazine and every golf blog and in all these other things in this sport where there's however many million people playing it, and it went with still less than, I think, 700,000 views at this point. Does that mean that he didn't perform well? Hell no. Does that mean it's not crazy ridiculous what he did and put his body through in that, I would say, 2-year process of when he really decided to start hitting the ball further? Oh no, you can't take that away from the man. It is absolutely nuts what him and his coach and his whole team put together. Oh, hands down, absolutely crazy. But did it translate from the effort to the production as far as on the other side? And the answer was unfortunately no. Right. And I think when they figure out why it was a no, then they've got gold, because they need to figure out how do they find a way to make this sport something so much greater. How can they find that niche group of super fans like you see with WWE or with any other sport? I mean, hell, cornhole has a crazy following. And so there's, World Series of Poker. That's another thing. And, Long Drive has to find whatever that fan base is, which therefore will allow them to continue on and get these corporate sponsorships. I want to see the sport make it. I really do. It's fun. It's exciting. But then when you look at it, there was never a major OEM. Even hell, Callaway had Kings of Distance, but you never saw anything that they did in major publications. They never used any of their long drivers in their marketing. Not Stitlowski, not, I can go down the list of people, not Joe Miller and do to keep going down. They never use these guys. No one knows why.
I guess the non-conforming stuff, it just doesn't, right?
No, it's actually governed by the USGA. If it's not legal on the PGA Tour, we couldn't use it.
Wow.
What about the length? You guys use anything longer?
If it's not legal on the PGA Tour, we can't use it.
See, that's something that we need someone telling everyone that, because I always assumed...
They did on Golf Channel. They constantly pumped that out. The problem was in the early 90s, they had this dumbass rule that if you can swing it, you can bring it. And that's when Carl Walter won his first championship, I think the Joker had like a 60-inch driver or something. Yeah. It was just dumb. I don't even know how the hell you swing that shit. You'd have to wait so long for that ball, for the club to get back to the ball. I ain't got time to do all that. Shut up, fall. No one cares.
So the driver you used in 2017 could be used tomorrow on a PGA Tour event.
Yep.
Wow.
Length and head had to be conforming. Everything. There was nothing about the clubs since I've been in the sport of long drive that were illegal. Nothing.
So that's crazy that the companies aren't advertising that, because if you watch a guy hit it 515 yards, why would you not advertise his exact specs and all the stuff that he's using in that and try and sell that to people? Because he just hit the ball 515 yards. That's fucking crazy.
Now, the weird thing about it is there was a rule that no one knew about. So in the rules of the USGA, a club is only deemed illegal when
I'm not the rules guy.
Non-conforming?
Yeah.
Non-conforming. So a club, you know how we always talk about drivers getting hot. The COR gets raised on them. They cannot test a club when it is in play, in competition. Once you buy that club, it's yours. You can play with it. No one is testing, Brooks or Rory, any of these guys. No one's testing their drivers. Our drivers were tested in between rounds at World Championships, and they could pull your club at any single point in the tournament and take it away from you.
It's fucking nuts you hit the ball that far with a conforming club. That is fucking... I figured you had some whippy fucking long 70-inch shaft and you're just flying these... Wow, that's nuts.
Oh, my clubs were 46, actually. I was 46 before crazy. 46 became a thing. Well, I'm only 5'8", bro. I'm not 6'5". Every long driver out there is 6'5", 6'2". Yeah, I'm 5'8" on a very good day. Huh?
Interesting.
Oh, you want to start with that, don't you?
Well, I'm just gonna sit here and let you just fucking fire missiles at me the whole time.
Hey, Frank, you see I tried to slide it in there real smooth and then get to the next topic? I'm in trouble with these sat back.
Yeah, that's right. Oh. Yeah, I'm only 5'5".
When I saw that zipper all the way down at your navel, that's when I knew I was in trouble.
Fuck, man.
That is something they should highlight, because the conception out there is that you're using Mickey Mouse drivers to hit it 450 yards, which would be impressive in and of itself. But yeah, just the fact that you're using the same legally binding driver that I'm using, and I'm flying at 250 and you're flying at 450. That's amazing. That's awesome.
Insane.
The only difference honestly would be the lofts. The lofts are the difference, right? So our lofts are low. My driver in 2018 was anywhere from a 1 degree to a 2.75. That's what I used.
What?
So
how do you hit that?
So can you explain it like we're 5 years old? You're hitting up on it as high as you possibly can.
8 up in, 8 out, 8 in. So I'd hit up 8 degrees.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck me.
Right. The average, especially back in the day, before sort of the metalwoods and all that, when they used to hit down on. Tiger in late 90s was hitting down on the golf ball with his driver, hitting down a degree or so.
But remember, that's the ball. The ball, you needed the spin.
Right.
So the balata balls weren't spinning like that. So you had to keep them in the air.
Right.
And that was a big part of it. Now with the, that's why they're talking about consistently rolling back the ball. Backspin is not your friend.
Right.
When you're trying to hit it far. Backspin is your loving friend on an approach shot. But you can't have backspin. I mean, you got to be under 2K for the most part.
So, Frankie, think about that. Like we were, before we were really trying to focus on hitting up on it, right? We were probably a couple degrees down, and we're hitting a 10-degree difference really from how he's hitting it to how we're hitting it on our strike on the ball. That's
when you're out playing with your buddies and you're just playing a regular round of golf. Are you just launching golf balls off the tee, or do you play a more consistent, contained game?
Yeah. So now, I really am focusing on score. So I used to not care score. I'd go out, like if the four of us were playing, it'd just be like, oh man, we're just gonna have a great time. No one cares. And where the ball goes, where it goes. Now I'm really trying to get myself mentally focused on, okay, when I hit the ball, it needs to have purpose. I can't go out here and just lose 4 golf balls in a round. It's not good for where I'm trying to go, because that'll creep back into me when I'm actually in the tournament where it counts. So, but yeah, I mean, I honestly hit a lot of 2-iron. I mean, I hit a 2-iron about 285. Almost 3 bills.
Yeah.
So I don't really need a driver. And the courses that I play are pretty tight. So they don't. Now, if I go to my dad's course, he's got this course where it's butt naked wide open. Like you can't lose a golf ball out there. It is legitimately impossible. So I go out there, I'll whale driver all day long just to mess with him. And then he'll give me wedges in. But yeah, no, most times in a tournament, man, I'm 2-iron up.
It's funny to think about, because even if you play like a 450-yard par 4 and you just hit your 2-iron 285 to 300, I mean, you're gonna have like a pitching wedge in or 9-iron into that green. Like that's a long par 4 too. Why would you need drivers? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he's not gonna need. You go 2-iron gap wedge on a long par 4.
Yeah. And so that's the thing that I keep trying to, the thing that people have to understand is if you're long with the driver, traditionally you're longer with everything. So, right. For me, I'll hit a pitching wedge about 175. So there's no need, but I can flight the ball down. I mean, there's a lot of different shots that I have now. I didn't have them before, but if you're long with the driver, you're long with everything. So if you can check your ego at the door and pull the driver out only when, now there's some days, I mean, everyone knows there's some days where you just can't miss.
Right.
And then, you just start pulling that boy out and you just go to town, but you learn to play with the game that you've got that day. You know what I mean? Like you don't try to force it. You don't let your ego take over. Like, oh, I got to hit the driver here. No, you don't. I mean, sometimes I'll hit an iron on a par 5.
Right.
And it's just like, I'm here for score. Like no one cares if I hit a 450-yard drive and shot 12 over. That's not going to help me in this whole realm that I'm trying to go. It's all about, can I get to 66? Can I get to 62?
205, dead middle of the fairway, no wind, no elevation change. What club are you taking?
205. Am I in Florida or am I in Georgia? 8 or 7, depending on what state I'm in.
I wanted you to say like an 8-iron. That's exactly what I was trying to get at.
8-iron. Traditionally, it's 8-iron for Georgia, because Atlanta has a little bit more elevation. Florida, you're in the armpit of the world, so nothing really flies far here.
It needs to be like a pure 4-iron for me.
Yep. We're absolutely launching 4-irons, being like, this has to be the greatest shot of my life.
You can send me workouts. That doesn't mean I'm going to do them.
Oh, we'll see. Then, hey, Frankie, you'll be the longest person in this group. No
worries. You haven't really seen me in person yet.
His regimen.
It doesn't matter. I'm just telling him what he needs to do to catch you. I'm not saying you have to do anything different than what you're already doing.
No, my body's bad, dude. I went for a lesson the other day, and the guy's like, first thing we got to do is we got to get you some leg bands. Like, you got to start strengthening those things. I mean, it's just a little bit of skin around my femur. It's nuts. It's just, there's nothing there.
That's all right.
All right, Maurice. We got to do something. We got to set it up. We got to get out there and play. I want to see you hit the ball 500 yards.
Let's do it. Let's set up something, man. Let's do some player highlights, man. I'd love to do that with you guys. There's a lot of amazing players that we could do some highlights on, get them on, talk to them. Just make it, I hate for it to just be a Black History thing, because there's people playing all year long.
Totally.
There's some really amazing players out there. My first person I'd say is bring Mariah Stackhouse on, man. Just let her talk. let people know about her. She's just an amazing human being. She really is. I love her to death. I really do.
Let's do it. We'll do it.
Imagine playing this guy and fucking his buddies in a scramble. We'd get absolutely fucking cranked.
Yo, I forgot to tell you guys. So we are doing a thing in Atlanta the 20th and the 21st. Myself, Steve Monroe, Chris Hall, and Josh Jackson. We're playing like this match between like 36 holes of golf. I'll send you guys the details. Yeah. You want to come for that? That'll be pretty interesting.
Fuck.
Hell yeah. Let's set something up. We'll do a match. We'll do some long drive stuff. And let's keep this going. Let's not let this just stop here, like you said, because it's Black History Month. I'm glad that we're able to get you on. I'm glad we're able to highlight a lot of these things. Whole different perspective for us, for our audience. And you're just the man. So we appreciate it, even though you're fucking making fun of me the whole time. You're a good dude. You got a great vibe about you. I think you're a way better voice than you think that you are. So let's follow up. Let's keep this train rolling.
Hey man, I appreciate you guys for being open, man. I got my amen corner, my co-signer Trent down there. He's just giving me the thumbs up when I hit you. He's just like,
oh yeah,
he loves it.
I love it. I mean, you know, he was giving it to you the whole time. It was just the best entertainment we could have.
Yes, the peanut gallery out there is just giving it the old thumbs up the whole time.
Hey man, that's my guy, man. Everybody's gotta have a hype man, baby. Trent's my hype man. Baby.
That's right.
That's right.
Go check it out, okay? MA360foundation.org. The other was growgolf.com. Is that what you gave me?
Growthegame.golf.
Growthegame.golf. Go check out those websites, follow through, and then we're going to follow up with you. We're going to keep this rolling, like I said, and we really do appreciate the time and the perspective.
Hey, thank you guys so much, man. We'll do it again soon.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
See you.